My pills were gone, and I blamed my son. James backed me up, cold as ice. His burner phone told a different story and his plan to kill me. I woke up one morning in our Seattle home, my stomach twisting in knots. The familiar ache from stage 3 colon cancer was there, but something felt off. I shuffled to the bathroom, my hands trembling as I opened the medicine cabinet. My pills, the ones keeping me alive, were gone. Not a single bottle left. My heart pounded in my chest, a cold sweat breaking out on my forehead. Those meds cost us $2,000 a month, every cent from our savings. Without them, I was staring down a death sentence. I tore through the bathroom, checking every shelf, every drawer. Nothing. I stumbled into the bedroom, ripping open nightstand drawers, tossing pillows aside. Still nothing. My breath came in short gasps, panic clawing at my throat. I didn't want to believe it, but my mind went to Ethan, my 20-year-old son. He'd been home from college for the weekend, and I knew he'd had trouble with money before. Small things, like taking cash from my purse years ago. Could he have done this? I crept down the hall to Ethan's room, my bare feet cold on the hardwood floor. His bed was unmade, clothes strewn across the floor. I hesitated, guilt prickling at me, but I had to know. I lifted his mattress, and there it was, a thick stack of cash, at least $1,000, tucked in a plastic bag. My stomach dropped. The room spun. My own son, selling my meds, the betrayal cut deeper than the cancer ever could. I sat on his bed, clutching the cash, my vision blurring with tears. The meds made me loopy sometimes, but this felt clear as day. Ethan had taken them, sold them for quick money. I couldn't breathe. I'd been fighting for my life, and my own flesh and blood had stabbed me in the back. I heard the front door creak open downstairs. James, my husband, called out, "Emily, you okay?" His voice was calm, steady, like always. I wiped my eyes and stumbled downstairs, the cash still in my hand. James saw my face and rushed over, his arms wrapping around me. I told him everything, the missing pills, the money under Ethan's mattress. His jaw tightened, but he didn't look surprised. "That kid," he muttered, shaking his head. "We didn't raise him like this, Em. This isn't on us." His words felt like a lifeline, pulling me out of the chaos in my head. He was right. Ethan had made his choice. When Ethan got home that evening, his backpack slung over one shoulder, I was waiting. My hands shook as I held up the cash. "Explain this," I said, my voice breaking. His eyes widened, confusion flashing across his face. "Mom, where'd you get that?" he stammered. I didn't want to hear it. The evidence was in my hands. "You stole my meds, Ethan. My life. How could you?" My voice cracked, tears spilling over. James stood beside me, his hand on my shoulder, silent but firm. Ethan's face crumpled. "Mom, I swear I didn't touch your pills. I don't know where that money came from." He reached out, his pinky extended, our old ritual for promises. "Please, Mom, believe me." But I couldn't. Not with the cancer eating at me, not with the cash burning a hole in my hand. I turned away, my heart shattering. "Pack your things," I said, barely above a whisper. "You're not staying here." He begged, his voice desperate, but I couldn't look at him. James guided me to the couch, his arm steady around me. "You did the right thing," he said, his voice low. "He can't stay after this." I nodded, clinging to his words, but deep down, something felt wrong. Ethan's pleas echoed in my head as he packed his bags and left, the door slamming behind him. I buried my face in James's chest, sobbing, the weight of it all crushing me. My son was gone, my meds were gone, and I was running out of time. Without my meds, the pain came back like a freight train. My body ached, my head spun, and every step felt like wading through mud. Seattle's gray skies didn't help, each rainy day mirroring the fog in my mind. I was dying, and James, my husband, was acting strange. He'd always been my rock, but now he barely looked at me. He'd come home from work, mutter a few words, and disappear into his office, the door clicking shut behind him. At first, I chalked it up to stress. We'd burned through $30,000 of our savings on my treatment, but something gnawed at me, a quiet whisper that things weren't right. One night, I couldn't sleep. The pain in my gut was relentless, and James's distance was eating at me worse than the cancer. I wandered downstairs past the framed photos of our wedding on Alki Beach and stopped outside his office. The door was locked. My heart thudded. Why lock it? We never locked doors in our house. I pressed my ear against the wood, hearing nothing but the hum of his computer. My hands shook as I jiggled the handle, but it wouldn't budge. I needed answers. The next day, while James was at his accounting firm downtown, I went back. I grabbed a hairpin from the bathroom, my fingers clumsy from the pain. I'd seen enough movies to know it wouldn't work, but desperation makes you try stupid things. The lock didn't budge, but I noticed his desk was slightly off-center. I dropped to my knees, ignoring the sharp stab in my side, and peered underneath. There it was, a small safe, black and cold, tucked against the wall. My breath caught. James never mentioned a safe. I tried a few codes: our anniversary, his birthday, Ethan's birthday. Nothing. Then, on a whim, I punched in 0715, the day we met at a Pike Place Market coffee shop. The lock clicked. My heart stopped. I opened the safe, and there they were, my meds. Every bottle I'd thought was stolen, neatly stacked at the bottom. My vision blurred, not from tears, but from rage. Why were they here? Why would James hide them? I dug deeper, my hands trembling, and found something else, a cheap burner phone, the kind you'd buy at a gas station. I powered it on, no passcode. The screen lit up, and my world shattered. Text messages filled the screen, a conversation with someone named Lisa. I scrolled, my stomach churning. "She's getting worse," James had written. "Won't be long now." Lisa replied, "Good. Then we can be together." No suspicion. My knees buckled. I sank to the floor, the phone shaking in my hands. Another message from James. Blamed it on Ethan. She bought it. My chest tightened. Ethan, my son, innocent. James had set him up, used him to cover his tracks. And worse, Lisa. 3 years of texts, going back to when I was first diagnosed. James had been cheating, planning to let me die so he could run off with her. My heart pounded so loud I thought it'd burst. I wanted to scream, to smash the phone, to burn the house down, but I couldn't. Not yet. I needed proof. I snapped photos of the texts, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. I grabbed my meds, stuffing them into my pocket, and closed the safe, sliding it back under the desk. I had to play it cool. If James knew I'd found this, he might do something worse. The thought made my skin crawl. He'd been watching me waste away, pretending to care, while plotting my death. When James got home that evening, the front door chimed. I forced a smile, my heart racing. "Hey, honey," I said, my voice thin but steady. He gave me a quick glance, his eyes cold, and muttered, "Rough day at work." He headed straight to his office, not even noticing the pills in my pocket. I stood in the kitchen, gripping the counter, my knuckles white. The man I'd loved for 15 years, the man I'd trusted with my life, was a monster. I locked myself in the bathroom, the pills clutched to my chest, and slid to the floor. Tears came, hot and silent. I didn't sob, I didn't scream, I just sat there, the weight of his betrayal crushing me. I had to get out, I had to protect myself, and I had to make things right with Ethan. But first, I needed a plan. The next morning, I sat at the kitchen table in our Seattle home, my coffee cold, my hands steady for the first time in weeks. The pills were back in my system, easing the pain, but James's betrayal burned hotter than ever. I couldn't look at him without seeing those texts, his cold plan to let me die. I called a lawyer from a friend's recommendation, a woman named Karen who specialized in messy divorces. Her voice was sharp. "No nonsense. Get me evidence," she said. "We'll bury him." I hung up, my resolve hardening. James wasn't going to ruin me. I waited until he left for work, his car disappearing down the rainy street. I needed more proof. The safe was my only shot, but when I checked under his desk, it was gone. My heart sank, panic creeping in. Had he moved it? Did he know I'd found it? I tore through his office, checking drawers, shelves, even behind his old accounting books. Nothing. I moved to our bedroom, my breath ragged. We had a painting above the bed, a gift from my sister, showing me and James on Alki Beach, smiling like we were in love. I laughed bitterly. What a lie. On a hunch, I pulled the painting down. There, carved into the wall, was a small hole. Inside, the safe. Yeah. My hands shook as I punched in 0715. The lock clicked, and there it was, the burner phone. No meds this time. He must have known I took them. I opened the phone, scrolling through new texts. "She's looking better," James wrote to Lisa. "I need to move faster." My blood ran cold. I snapped photos of every message, my fingers flying. Proof he'd stolen my meds, proof of the affair, proof he'd framed Ethan. I slid the phone back, replaced the painting, and called Karen. "I've got everything," I said. She told me to sit tight and start moving his stuff. Over the next few days, I worked in secret. I rented a storage unit in Capitol Hill, hauling James's clothes, golf clubs, and books while he was at work. I moved slow, careful not to tip him off. Each box I packed felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. By Friday, the unit was full. I called a locksmith, watching from the window as he changed every lock on the house. The click of the new deadbolt felt like freedom. That evening, the Ring doorbell chimed. James was home. I watched him on the app, his key failing, his face twisting in confusion. He banged on the door, yelling, "Emily, open the damn door." My heart raced, but I stayed calm. I spoke through the doorbell, my voice steady. "I know everything, James. The meds, Ethan, Lisa, your plan to kill me." His eyes widened, his mouth opening, then closing. He stammered, "You're crazy, Em. I cut him off. "I have proof. The texts, the safe, everything. And you're on camera right now." He froze, his face pale under the porch light. Then he crumbled, his voice low. "I'm sorry, okay? I messed up. Let me in. We'll talk." I almost laughed. Talk? After he'd framed our son and left me to die? "Your stuff's in a storage unit," I said. "Keys under the mat. Divorce papers are inside. Don't come back or I'm calling the cops." I watched him grab the key and leave, his shoulders slumped. I locked the app, my hands trembling, and sank to the floor, tears burning my eyes. I'd done it. I'd taken my life back. But James didn't go quietly. Within days, my phone buzzed with calls from old friends. "Is it true you kicked James out for no reason?" one asked. "He said you're with someone else." My jaw dropped. He was spreading lies, painting me as the villain. At the grocery store, neighbors gave me sideways glances. At church, whispers followed me. I told them we were divorcing, but kept the details private. Some nodded, others turned cold. I felt alone, exposed, like the cancer wasn't my only battle anymore. But I had Ethan to fix things with, and I had Karen. The evidence was ironclad texts, photos, and now James's recorded confession. He couldn't touch me. Not anymore. With James gone, the house felt too quiet, like the air itself was holding its breath. I sat on the couch in our Seattle living room, staring at my phone. Ethan's number glowed on the screen. My heart ached, heavy with guilt. I'd kicked him out, believed James's lies, and shattered our bond. I dialed, my fingers trembling. When he answered, his voice was soft, hesitant. "Mom?" I broke down, tears spilling over. "Ethan, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Your dad, he framed you. He took my meds." The line went silent, then a shaky breath. "I knew it wasn't me, Mom," he said, "but it hurt." I begged him to come home. He agreed, and when he walked through the door, I hugged him so tight I thought I'd never let go. His familiar scent, pine and laundry detergent, made me sob harder. "I'll never doubt you again," I whispered. He nodded, his eyes wet. "I get why you thought it, Mom. I've messed up before." We talked for hours, the truth stitching us back together. Ethan moved back in, his old room filling with life again. We started family therapy at a clinic in Fremont. The counselor, a kind woman named Laura, helped us unpack the pain. Ethan admitted how much it stung to be accused, to lose my trust. I owned up to my mistakes, the fog of cancer and meds clouding my judgment. Slowly, we rebuilt. We cooked dinners together, simple stuff like spaghetti or tacos. Ethan would chop vegetables, telling me about his college classes, was, while I shared stories from my doctor visits. On weekends, we walked through Green Lake Park, my steps slow from treatment. Ethan matched my pace, never complaining. We'd talk about nothing, movies, music, or just walk in silence, the lake's calm water reflecting the healing between us. My doctor, worried about my worsening symptoms, handed me a pamphlet one day. It showed a woman smiling, surrounded by others, with cancer support group in bold letters. "It's at a church in Ballard," she said. "It helped my sister through her fight." I tucked the pamphlet in my purse, unsure. I didn't have many friends left. James's lies had seen to that. Maybe this was what I needed. The next Wednesday, I pulled into the church parking lot, my stomach in knots. It was empty, and I panicked, thinking I'd gotten the day wrong. Then a woman stepped out, her smile warm as sunlight. "You're early, but come on in," she said. Her name was Sarah, the pastor's wife and a cancer survivor. She'd started the group after her own battle, wanting to give others hope. Inside, she offered me coffee and asked about my life. I hesitated, then poured it all out: James's betrayal, Ethan's forgiveness, my fight to stay alive. Sarah listened, her eyes kind, never judging. "You're stronger than you know," she said. I didn't believe her, but I wanted to. When the other women arrived, the room filled with chatter and laughter. They shared their stories: chemo, surgeries, fears, victories. I felt a spark I hadn't in months. They weren't just strangers, they were warriors, like me. Sarah recommended a new doctor, Dr. Patel, who was affordable and had glowing reviews. "She saved me," Sarah said. I called Dr. Patel that night, booking an appointment. The group became my lifeline. Every Wednesday, I'd drive to the church, my heart lighter. These women got it: the exhaustion, the fear, the small wins. They gave me tips on managing side effects, recommended specialists, and made me feel like I belonged. Ethan noticed the change. "You're smiling more, Mom," he said one evening, stirring pasta sauce. I laughed, realizing he was right. The group, Ethan, therapy, it was piecing me back together. I started looking forward to those church meetings, to Sarah's warm hugs, to the stories that reminded me I wasn't alone. For the first time in years, I felt hope, not just for my health, but for a life beyond the pain James had caused. I was ready to fight, not just for survival, but for me and Ethan. A year with Dr. Patel changed everything. I sat in her Seattle office, my hands clasped tight, waiting for the latest test results. The room smelled of antiseptic, but her smile was warm. "Emily," she said, "you're in remission." My heart stopped. Tears welled up, not from pain, but from joy. I'd fought stage 3 colon cancer, and won. I called Ethan from the parking lot, my voice shaking. "I'm cancer-free," I said. He whooped so loud I had to pull the phone away, laughing through my tears. "We're celebrating, Mom," he said. I couldn't argue with that. The divorce with James was a war, but I came out on top. Karen, my lawyer, used every piece of evidence: texts, photos, the Ring doorbell confession. James fought dirty, demanding the house, our cars, even half our savings. But with the threat of police involvement hanging over him, he backed down. I kept the house in Ballard, the cars, and every cent in our joint account, $50,000, hard-earned from years of scraping by. I told him to go live with Lisa. "You wanted her so bad," I said through Karen. "Go." He slunk away, his lies exposed, his power gone. Ethan had an idea to mark my victory. "Let's go to Hawaii," he said one night, chopping onions for our usual taco dinner. My jaw dropped. I'd dreamed of Hawaii since I was a kid, picturing Waikiki Beach's turquoise waves. James always said it was too expensive, too far. Now, with the divorce money and no one to stop me, it felt like fate. "Let's do it," I said, grinning. We booked tickets for a week in Oahu, just the two of us. The anticipation lit up my days, a spark I hadn't felt in years. I threw a party to celebrate, inviting my family and the women from the cancer support group. The house was decked out in pink balloons, streamers, a cake dripping with pink frosting. My sister brought pink lemonade, and Sarah from the group hugged me so tight I thought I'd break. "You're a miracle," she whispered. I laughed, feeling lighter than ever. The group begged me to keep coming to meetings, even in remission. "You're family now," Sarah said. I promised I would. Those women had carried me through my darkest days, and I wasn't letting them go. Hawaii was everything I'd dreamed. Ethan and I landed in Honolulu, the air warm and sweet with flowers. We spent days on the beach, my toes in the sand, the sun kissing my skin. Ethan splashed in the waves, his laugh echoing like he was a kid again. One evening, we sat on Waikiki Beach, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. I turned to him, my heart full. "We made it," I said. He smiled, his eyes soft. "Yeah, Mom, we did." I thought about James, the safe, the lies. They felt like another life, one I'd left behind. Back in Seattle, I kept up with the support group, sharing coffee and stories with Sarah and the others. My health stayed strong, my energy climbing. Ethan and I grew closer, our walks around Green Lake Park now filled with plans for the future. He talked about graduating college, maybe moving closer to home. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since before the diagnosis. The house felt like mine again, filled with light and laughter instead of secrets. Sitting on that beach in Hawaii, Ethan's hand in mine, I realized how far we'd come. Cancer tried to break me, James tried to destroy me, but I fought back, rebuilt my life, and found a family in strangers who became sisters. I was free not just from disease, but from the weight of betrayal. The waves crashed softly, and I closed my eyes, letting the moment sink in. This was my victory, and no one could take it away.